Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister of Corrections, does she agree with the finding of the Chief Ombudsman that, quote, transgender prisoners are particularly vulnerable to abuse and or sexual assault, unquote?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr. Speaker, yes to verbal abuse, as are many prisoners, but no to sexual assault. All prisoners are assessed for safety and security on a case-by-case basis. I'm advised that only 5 out of our 8,500 prisoners identify as transgender, and the Department of Corrections believes that all prisoners should be treated with decency and humanity in safe and secure environments that acknowledge their gender identification.
Chan Logie.
In light of the Ombudsman's report that says, quote, abuse of transgender prisoners goes unrecorded in male prisons, unquote, what actions will she take to ensure transgender prisoners' safety?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Well, Mr. Speaker, my understanding is that the Ombudsman spoke to one only transgender prisoner, and I'm advised that there is no evidence of widespread sexual assault.
The Honourable Marion Street.
Mr. Speaker, what assurances can the Minister give that transgender inmates are protected from harm in prison and that their physical and mental health needs are promptly and appropriately addressed?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr. Speaker, I can assure that member that Corrections is fully aware of the duty of care which it has to all prisoners and continues to make improvements. And the Department does deliver a pretty good health service to prisoners, which indeed the Ombudsman did acknowledge in his report.
Chan Logie.
Will she consider changing the corrections regulation that requires full gender reassignment surgery before a trans person can be placed in a prison aligned to their gender, especially given the Human Rights Commission inquiry into transgender discrimination found that only a small minority of trans people complete such surgeries?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
No, Mr. Speaker, but the Department will continue to assess the needs of prisoners on a case-by-case basis. And common sense is also important. A man who is transgender but pre-surgery is still a man, and to move him to a woman's prison would raise a number of safety issues. By the same token, we can't move a female prisoner into a male prison. But I am satisfied that the Department is focusing on rehabilitation and reducing reoffending, which will ensure that fewer prisoners, transgender or otherwise, end up back in prison.
Chan Logie.
What level of sexual assaults on trans people need to occur before the Minister acts to ensure their safety in prison?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr. Speaker, as I said earlier, there is no evidence that there is widespread sexual assault.
Question number 12, Claire Curran.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is